Hello there, it's Honest Gas. So today we're going to be revisiting the project I was working on yesterday. So if you guys remember correctly, this thing was, the problem was that it was sticking out like this when it should be this. And like an idiot, I was like, I want to get this as close to my forehead as possible. So I was trying to push this down to get it to go to my forehead, but I was doing it the wrong way, of course. So now it has much less bump. If anything, no bump at all. So I'm gonna have to finish this thing one more time. But I think what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to reduce the hair pulling, right? So this is at the top, and in order to get that closed, I'm either going to roll them up or send an aluminum wire out that way. Might wind up doing that because these wires are really thick. What's up, Brian King? These wires are really thick and they don't curl very well. Not only that, this is actually really kind of badly wiggly now. So I might just wrap it in instead. Well, let's get started. Too busy for more aluminum wraps? Yeah, I'm just trying to solve the issue of... See, I can connect them like that, but it pulls on the hair. Man, I love the way that one fits. And this one's more like a frig anyway because of this part here. Wrap with thinner gauge wire. It really doesn't solve the problem because the problem is the wires are horizontal. So, or excuse me, vertical. So the hair, like a wedge, it just gets stuck right into the wedge there. And I fear I'm going to lose all the hair on the side of my head if I continue to wear things like that. And for girls, it's going to be 10 times worse. So I'm going to wind up having to do the aluminum. In fact, I may wind up doing... See, even this one, I can't lift it up off my head because of the wire. So the wire there, I have to pull it this way. So if that's the case, then maybe I can get away with well, let's get the shape down first. Sorry, sometimes I have to go back to the actual video to see what I'm working on. Like a baseball cap? Shape the back end like a baseball cap? Not sure if that would just solve the issue. How's it going, Ken? I think I want to keep this 3-wire down style here. Six and a half. And a full 7 inches, my goodness. That's not gonna work. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that this part here is exactly 6.5 inches. So I think what I'll do is I'm just gonna little by little well, that would be the case, except that the problem with last time is that it was so far off my scalp that it looked like a weird, I don't know, massive eyebrow or massive forehead. So it was just kind of like, it doesn't really look all that great. I just think it's so funny that I tried to solve the issue by going like that when this was the issue. It's just too funny. There we go. Let's compare them. This is actually further back. What I need to do is I need to actually repurpose this thing to being a rack for this, because I don't think I'm ever doing that chainmail for a long time, especially considering how much I already have. I really need to sell those little copper little chainmail finger fidget thingies that I made. All right. That's 6 inches. And that one's more than 6 inches. So what I think I might actually do is re-snip them. That might be better. Yeah. It was a frig for a Neanderthal? Oh, yeah. That's what she said. Alright, so let's measure this one more time. Almost measured the wrong one. So I'm gonna make that. Okay. Let's get some work done, for fucking crying out loud. Stop procrastinating. It's just what I do. It's what I do best, actually. So I'm just gonna snip it off here. Let's get my hammer. Just real quick, I'm just gonna go mute. I'm allowed to curse? For the most part. I don't mind cursing. Sometimes people have their kids watching. You know, one of these days, I'm gonna go full on and do a, you know how I made the square wire, right? Where I flattened out a long piece and then flattened it again when I, you know, curved it and stuff like that? I guess I don't have to curve it, I just flatten it twice before bending it or anything. Either way, it just seems like something I really need to get started on doing. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. What's up, Freedom TV? Oh, I'm doing just fine. How about yourself? If you're beginning to use vulgarity. Yeah, I actually feel like I called it positivity training. It kind of failed me just a little bit, or excuse me, I failed it just a little bit with the whole auditing thing. Is that I'm trying my very best to not hate people, you know what I mean? It's not easy. I watched a video of a police officer saving a man's life today, and videos like that, they always piss me off, mostly because I think about the people who hate cops so irrationally, you know, and I think about them and I'm just like, you know what, I don't like them at all. And I used to be that. I used to be that guy who hated police officers just totally irrationally. All cops. Didn't matter if they were good people or not, I just hated them. And, I don't know, I'm trying my best to not do that same thing. As just one example. No bullshit, what's up? I know the reasons. Life isn't fair, right? Life is tough. And it makes it that much tougher that you have to be in the same vicinity as people that you may not like. And, Hang on, let me turn on my music real quick so I'm not yelling. And a lot of the times, people don't understand how they make their lives so much more difficult than they need to be. Yeah, you can be a terrible person, but don't expect to get any kind of favors or anything like that in return, right? Like, I'll use an example of... Let me hammer this real quick, and I'll get right back to it. I'll use the example of when I go to Chipotle, right? I go to Chipotle all the time, and I can probably, I think about 5 or 6 times I've gotten free burritos, right? And we'll just use that as one example. I would never have gotten those burritos for free if I was a shitty person who just treated people like dirt all the time. You know, being a good person is not easy. It's actually one of the most difficult things that I've ever had to try and do in my lifetime. And you can tell because I don't do so well all the time. Oh no, I'm sure you meant police don't protect you as favor. No, of course not. They do it as a job. They're people. They're human beings. You cannot expect a human being to act like a robot, right? And would you want them to act like robots if that was the case? Just blindly following the absolute letter of the law? You jaywalk, boom, you got a ticket. There's no more officer discretion, right? They have to give you a ticket. Do you want that? Do you want them to absolutely, to the letter of the law, follow it? I don't think people want to. I think people would much prefer police to use discretion. Because if they, like, absolute letter of the law, no way. There's no fucking way. People would be going to jail for stupid things like, I don't know, stupid thing. And okay, I'm gonna try and keep working on this while I'm talking. I think not having it on my face will help. Let me just read some comments real quick. You mean black eyes? Oh, what's up, Nacha? Some black eye. See, we have to remember to separate anecdotal stuff as well. We can take any scenario, any situation that is abnormal or even normal, and use it as an example for an argument. But the fallacy to that is that you can do the exact same thing, right? For every example of a bad police officer, I can give you an example of a good police officer to nullify that. So let's look at the issue here, right? The issue here is, right, that police are people. That people are people. The difference between people and police is that at least police have some training and some accountability. People don't have accountability. That's what police are for. And when we're talking about if we want a completely fair system, right? If we want a totally fair system, then we're going to have to trust somebody at some point when it comes to deliberation, right? Let's say, for instance, Earl's case comes back that he was not actually a rapist, right? That he has been found not guilty for the crime that he's accused of. If it comes back to that, what can you say, right? Oh, well, they're just not doing it right, or it's a corrupt system, or he played the system, or something along those lines, or whatever. It's like, it'll never be good enough at that point. If you are so desperate to have a guilty plea because you're so convinced that Earl is guilty, then no, it'll never work. it'll never work if you think that in those terms. Oh man, I gotta start reading these comments. I don't know if we want robots taking care of us. That there would be no human element. There would be no passion. There would be no exceptions to the rules, because there's always an exception to the rule, right? This man viciously beat this person to death, right? But he just caught this person raping his child. A robot would say, no exceptions whatsoever. This guy murdered someone and he has to go to jail for it, right? We don't want robots like that. We don't want robots to make sure that every single thing is totally to the T, because that's just not how reality works, right? We want to be able to say, look, these are the facts as the investigation has unfolded. The general public does not necessarily have intimate knowledge of the facts. That means that we're going to have to trust somebody to make those decisions. And you know what? I want someone trained to make those decisions. I don't want some Joe Blow auditor making decisions of deliberations, right? I don't feel like this is the way it should be, so you should change it because of the way I feel. No, it just doesn't work that way. And good cops do turn in bad cops. You actually hear about cops getting blabbed about from their peers all the time. The trouble is, if you're only ever watching bad police content, and this is very crucial, guys, this is a very crucial thing here, really look at what you're watching. Are you only watching bad interactions? Is it literally the only thing you see in cops, in police? There's a discretion there. There's a bias. You have to look at the broad spectrum. And people who say, fuck all cops are bad, just like I was doing, they're so blindly ignorant of the obvious. They have no fucking clue as to how stupid they're being. Like, okay, sure, 100% scenarios totally make sense. Hang on. Right, Ken, and there may, if God exists, or under the assumption that God exists, that would be a good argument, is that if God doesn't smite just every bad person out there, then there's something not robotic about that. If anything, I would consider God as close to a robot, as more a robot than human. Well, that's a totally different thing. They're not going to be known as a whistleblower. Whistleblowers can be wrong, and they are all the time. They should be... It's all public information. It is all public information. As soon as the investigation is over, it becomes public information. And there's a very good reason why they don't just publicize information, right? Let's say the murderer drew a smiley face in blood at the crime scene. They're not going to tell the public that, because that is a very crucial piece of evidence that only the killer would know. Right? An admitted and convicted rapist blames victims. Yeah, that's a difficult question. Should they be allowed to use social media, and how are we going to be able to monitor that? I agree in the sense that people who are on computer lockdown, or whatever they call that, they can still enter the internet. It's just whether or not they get caught. You know, I wouldn't mind, like, a legitimate AI, right? A legitimate, like... Well, an AI would, by definition, have to be flawed to be any kind of nature. The trouble is you can't trust computers either because they get programmed. Yeah, yeah. You don't trust guys who paint their eyes black? Oh, that's fine, you know. Well, that's why we're talking about it, no bullshit. That's the whole reason why I like to talk about it, is that if we're only ever hearing everyone just patting each other on the back, oh yeah, you're doing so well, you know, stick it to those guys, you know, as long as you're giving us entertaining stuff, we'll love you. No, reality is a hell of a lot more boring, right? The real answer is a hell of a lot more boring. It's just like, you know, oh, what was that bump in the night? Was it a ghost? No, it was something fell off the shelf. You know, like, that's a hell of a lot less exciting than, oh, it was something I couldn't possibly comprehend. No, that's, yeah, you're right. Hang on. That's good. I'm glad to hear that, Brian King. I know I actually have video that I've never published from way before I became an auditor of me going, fucking waste of life, you know, pieces of shit, you know, that kind of thing. You know, I'm filming the police doing a stop, like a, you know, cop watch stop thing, and I was being really vulgar, like the ignorance level was like breaking the ceiling. And no, people don't just wake up and say, I hate cops. I agree, no bullshit. They get to that point because they're blaming others for their mistakes, right? You get pulled over, right? It's illegal to have weed in a state of whatever state you're in, or illegal tint, or for whatever legitimate reason you got pulled over, right? And it ruins your life. You lost your job, you lost your house, you lost your family, all because you had to have weed in your car, right? Like that. Then, instead of blaming yourself, right, you blame cops. Well, if only they didn't fucking screw me over, I would have been okay, you know. And it's just like, no, it doesn't work like that. People must take responsibility for their actions. If you're a despicable person, if you're a terrible, you have nothing good to say about strangers or to strangers or whatever, then whatever, you know, like, how can you expect anybody to have sympathy for you if you're being nasty? You know, I mean, and I always like to tell people that about the judge. The judge has the power. Whether you like it or agree with it or not, that judge has discretion over what happens to you. You know, and albeit they're under the, you know, the strict regulations of, you know, of his power, the guy has the power to screw you over. You know, they'll find a way. Do you really want to give them that reason or excuse to throw you in jail for several weeks or months because you're a little shit and you can't freaking behave yourself in public? Nobody is saying you can't cuss or you know, whatever, be a vulgar person in private or in front of your friends or whatever, but the moment you leave your house, you have no excuse. You must behave yourself, or you're going to face social or legal consequences. And there's really, I hate to make things so generalized, or excuse me, so simplified, but that's how it goes. You're responsible for your actions, and blaming other people doesn't help. Jeffrey, I don't know who that is. Show Furry some love? Oh goodness. Apparently she's calmed down quite a bit. I don't know how much I believe that, but yeah, there's always that sort of thing. Hang on, let me catch up here. Right, Brian King. You make a really good point there. If the police officers turn them in anonymously, they don't do themselves any favor by telling the world that they did it. So that's a really good point. If it's because of you. If I succeed, it's because of me. Yeah. That's a good. Oh, I'm glad to be a part of your life. Can't believe I've been working this whole time without any rings on. And I hate to... Okay, this is the difficult conversation, guys, and I'm going to do my absolute best to freaking work on this thing while I'm talking. Alright? I agree, Brian King. That is... I totally agree that you should be able to say whatever you want and not get any kind of legal ramification. I get that. In terms of, you know, not saying openly... Hey, let's all get together and you know, hunt down some gay people. That's definitely not protected speech. Lost Highway, what's up? But saying, fuck gay people, I hate all of them, they can all, you know, eat a dick and die, or something like that. Of course, that is protected speech. It's just, you can never expect the lack of social consequences. Southside Slacker, I'm sure that he is well aware that his behavior has some very serious social ramifications, right? Being all tatted up has social ramifications, right? Having eyeshadow and weird makeup and wearing a trench coat, yes, that has social ramifications. Is it against the law? No, right? Of course it isn't against the law to wear makeup or tattoos or whatever. But you're gonna get discriminated against. That's just a fact of life, right? Like, that's a fact of life. Now, you getting harassed by police for fucking cussing and being a nasty person? Sure, whatever, I get it. That's not okay. That cop should be better. In fact, he's expected to be a better person than the people he's protecting, right? I mean, that's the whole point. Well, I mean, I could just sum up your whole thing about gays to religion, Nacho. Most reasons why people don't like gay people is purely on a religious aspect. Though people can not like gay people for the simple fact that gay people are extremely annoying. Oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's fine. Yeah, I don't approve of religion, so, you know, we're even on that sense. And I'm pretty much just as open about that as I am about the other thing. What the hell? That looks so much longer. Ugh. How did that happen? Well, you know what I'll do, actually? This is what I'll do. I'm gonna cut that. I can't believe I've been sitting here for half an hour. I've literally done almost nothing. Right, well, I mean, I don't know about smart enough not to care. Maybe not caring enough to not care. But the smart thing would be to care. I mean, I wear a bell on myself. I wear a bell on my person when I'm walking like a crazy, like looking like a crazy person. I wear a bell because I care that people care about what I look like, right? Like, I make a point to be as friendly as possible, because despite how much I love the way I look and am aware of how I appear, I still gotta care about what people think of me, right? When a cop pulls me over and he's like, hey, I'm just checking you out, I don't know what's going on or whatever, I understand where they're coming from. Because normal people don't walk 3 o'clock in the morning running around in a trench coat and black makeup. That, you know, like, I have to expect that. If you're in a bad area, right, and you're in an area where there's a lot of gangbangers and shit like that or whatever, acting like a gangbanger is not going to make your life any easier. If you're not a gangbanger, right, and you want to prove to people that you're not a gangbanger, acting like one isn't going to make it any better, right? If I don't want, like, people are going to think that I'm a dark person who eats puppies and puts cigarettes out on my girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. I want to make it very clear that I'm not like that, right? Or if I want to avoid the whole situation altogether, I could just dress in polo shirts and tight jeans, or, you know, and slacks or whatever, and I have a normal haircut and shit like that, and whatever. Yeah, I mean, that would be my choice. Same thing goes for gays, right? Like, gay people want to complain all the time, oh, I'm being oppressed, oh, I'm being discriminated against, and it's just like, well, yeah, I mean, religion is still free to hate gay people as much as they want. So, yeah, you're gonna have to expect that. It's just like, let's use our brains here and look at what sort of, where the real problems are, what you can do to change that, what you can't do to change that, and what you're willing to accept, right? Like, just using Southside Slacker as an example, because he seems like a pretty cool dude. Southside Slacker, he looks like a guy, or seems like a guy I would love to have a beer with, or hang out with, or, you know, just to shoot the breeze or whatever. He seems like a cool guy, right? Like, that I don't discriminate. I get tattoos. I love them. Excuse me, I don't have tattoos. I understand them. It's art. Whatever. I don't get it. Like, I don't understand why you would do something like that. Why that would be, among all the decisions in your life, you're gonna put some permanent thing on your skin. I mean, I don't know. This doesn't make any sense to me. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna make it illegal for somebody to do that. Ow. Yeah, but you have the freedom to do that, though, Brian King. You have the freedom to not have your freedom, right? Just like anybody who doesn't go out and protest is literally not exercising their free speech. You know, like they, you know, other than like social media or whatever, the people who are not going out there and exercising their free speech are choosing not to, you know. It's coming. The movie's name is It's Coming? Well, if you can't identify who you are, that might be an issue, but I see what you're saying. That, yeah, if you want to walk around with a barrel on your head, as long as it's within the within the law, just don't expect to be able to go into a supermarket or a The Warriors, the movie, or a bank, or anything like that. Right, Lady Smith, exactly. I think that on the whole, on the grand scheme of things, people who have a lot to complain about probably aren't aware that most of what they're complaining about is their own fault. And that's myself included. When I hated cops, it was because I was blaming them for all my problems. Now, there's a couple problems that I blame them for, because I was a victim of a violent crime, and the guy who hit me lied his teeth off, and they just believed him over me. So, you know, whatever. But what am I going to do, right? What am I going to do? Everything I try to do, which I've tried to get back into it, but it eats me inside, and I I can't do it. I can, but I don't want to freaking bring it up. So one of these days, I may fucking just make a 6-hour fucking long video of the entire, all the audio that I have of my family. Anyway, yeah, actions have consequences. And people are just gonna have to get over that. And is it really that hard, right? Is it really too much to ask, right? To just not be a shitty person? It is actually too much to ask, because it's really difficult not to. Alright. And I have not done anything since I started. For free out of friendship? Yeah, but it's not permanent enough, man. If I really wanted to, I could tattoo this on my face. It would look better, that's for sure. Especially if I kept going back to get it done. Agreed, Brian King. You kind of can. I mean, the only thing stopping you is the social consequences, right? Like me, right? Murder being illegal doesn't stop me from killing people, right? Like, there's nothing a law can do to stop you from actually committing a crime, right? Like, you can steal a candy bar. You can. You are capable of doing that. But will you? Right? I mean, that's on you. If you want to be a thief, that's you. But don't expect that there's not going to be any social consequences for it. Right? Even if it was perfectly legal to go steal something, you're still going to have someone who's going to say something about it. You know? What's up, Lou? Noli D, hello. If it's yours, I will. Right, yeah. Yeah, and human decency, right? Law and order, human decency both go against freedom, right? They really do. Human decency... Oh, if it's my candy bar, you will? You can't steal my candy bar. That's the only one I got left. Well, I'm gonna have something to say about it. Stern words. Probably nothing more. And, sorry, like what I was saying, human decency, it goes against free will. It goes against, freedom, right? Because if we're gonna say, it's like 1 to the 10th power more difficult to be a nice person than it is to be a shitty person. I haven't seen it, but let me see if I got a notification. Well, I got your notifications, but I didn't see what you did. Nobody better laugh. Good. Huh? Well, right. Actually, this is a really fantastic point, Noli D. From birth, like, human decency is something that has to be taught. Like, burned into the brain. Like, no, it's not okay to steal because that's wrong. We're like, okay, well, it's wrong. I mean, that doesn't have any consequences, you know. But it has to be exactly Noli D. It has to be taught. You know, dogs have to go to puppy school. People got to go to people got to go to people school. That's for sure. Because, as we can tell from the lesser and lesser educated, right? Like, the dumber a person is, the more animalistic their tendencies are, right? Like biting. What was Mike Tyson, probably one of the most, brain dead people in the world. He's a biter, you know. Well, yeah. Anyway, I suppose anybody who uses their fists to solve their problems is not all that smart. Maybe for sport, yeah. Sport's fine. But if you're just, hey, I don't like what you said, I'm gonna punch you in the face, that would definitely be a sign of barbarism. I like to call them big ol' apes. Big dumb apes. Not to their face, of course, because I don't want to get punched. In fact, the only two reasons I wear mace. There's two reasons I wear mace. Excuse me. There are two things in the dark that scare me, that makes me want to wear mace. Dogs and people. Empathy and compassion are hard enough to master. Yeah. There's rumor about one guy who mastered it. Oh, man, wow. That was about 2 years. Well, I mean, yeah, we'll avoid that argument there. I will just disagree. Alright, I'm going to go mute 1 second. Really, I should be doing this on my Discord server, but it's okay. I think as rare as it is to have 10 people in my stream, I think we'll be fine talking about stuff while I'm working. Except that I haven't really been working on this. No, please. I'm trying not to offend you. I want to talk about it, but we don't have to. I hope nobody ever thinks that I've gotten offended. In fact, I offer troll lessons and how to deal with. Yeah, it's fine. It's one of the reasons I've been kind of trying to get away from doing the conversation on here, because, you know, this is doing the art, that kind of thing. But I'm more than happy to talk about that sort of thing on my Discord. You know, it's always in the description. And any time you ever want to talk about something, bring up a topic, there's a respective section in the Discord that, you were cracking a joke? Okay, I'm taking it way the fuck too seriously. Alright, but still, that stands. Anytime you guys want to ever talk about a specific topic, there's a section in my Discord that you can bring it up. Jeez Louise, Noli D. You know, I'm trying to be way too sensitive. I should have just laughed. I just realized something. So these hooks, right? They hook onto everything, as their name suggests. And I've been trying to solve the issue of having those damn hooks. I think I might actually solve it here in a second. For sure, Brian King, we also have to remember that we're dealing with people, and people are literally animals. You can't get around that, right? Just like with police, right? I often compare police to another religion entirely, right? We have to deal with religion, right? Anybody who is not religious, we have to deal with it, right? You can't take that freedom away, because it's wrong. It's wrong to tell someone, you can't believe this based on how I feel, right? That's wrong. The trouble is, you can't reason with these people either. So if they believe something like, gay people should go to hell or some stupid shit like that or whatever, do you let them believe that? Or do you say, enough is enough? Because there's really almost no middle ground, right? The only thing you can do is essentially say, socially speaking, that's not okay. It's not illegal to hate gay people, but it's not okay. It's illegal to hurt them, but it's not illegal to hate them. And I agree. I want to hurt gay people all the time, especially with how freaking annoying they can be sometimes. Right, Lady Smith. Well said. Right. Or people, I like to say there's people and humans, right? Humans are, for one to be humane, one must first be, for one to be human, one must first be humane. But that is also a slippery slope, because we have to eat. And eating kills things. So, are we humane? It's really hard to know. That's always all these awesome questions. I love to ask those questions. For sure, yeah. I mean, the trouble, Lou, is that most religions don't live and let live. That's the trouble. They live, and if you don't adhere to my religion, I'm going to kill you. It's just in America, you can't just kill somebody. It's not illegal. It's totally illegal. In places like Saudi Arabia, they have honor killings. So yeah. For any argument of good, there's always 10 arguments of bad in terms of religion. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that, Nacho live stream. Eventually, gay people would just group up in numbers and start going after people at night when they find, like here in my area in Dallas, there was a rampant beatings in our gay town, and it turned out to be a Muslim, of course. But the only way we found out that it was the guy doing that was there was a group of gay people walking the streets every night with their stuff to go and catch this guy. The police weren't doing anything. They're like, well, they certainly weren't doing anything that made any difference. It was the community that got it to stop. Right? It was that one guy. He kept beating people up, and it finally stopped because of the public. And really, it's really how most things get solved. Wow. So this is why I need to get back on this freaking art thing. For sure, Norley D. I'm glad to hear it. I think everybody should immerse themselves in all religions. My first question was, is there a God or not? And then as soon as I read essentially the first page of the Bible, I was like, well, that one's not real. It's like I've already gone through my biology and history and my biology and chemistry long enough to know that this is a bunch of bullshit. Right, and you're totally right there. Let's say even just the circulatory system, right? Beautiful. Wow, something that can get vital oxygen to every single cell in your body, literally every single cell in your body. But if you look at it outside of the body, it looks freaking ugly. It's gross. It's just like, although that may not be the best example, but yeah. Or childbirth. There we go. Childbirth, or even just the process of making a baby. You know, like human beings are greasy, you know, sweaty sacks of meat and you know, various liquids. And oh no, the skull crown is gone, man. This is what is so far done with the Crown 2.0. Let me just take a moment to go off topic. And give you guys an update on this Crown 2.0. Ooh, it's got cobwebs all over it. So here it is, so far. Halfway done. It's kind of in the middle. Actually, that's in the middle. That's like right in the center there. So when I have, I hope there weren't any spiders. So when I have the money, I'm going to buy crystals to fill that up. And I'll continue the. That's not going to be enough. It's all right. Man, what a pain in the ass. You know I can't do that. Yeah, exactly. I know I can't. Boop. Within the confines, yeah. Right, and Lady Smith, Metalsmith, that also, I agree, excuse me, you bring up a good point, because even staring at someone without saying anything, right, like you come into a police station or even a post office, and you see two people standing there talking to each other, and the first thing you do is stick a camera in their direction, and then when they ask you to do something, you know, what's up, how are you doing today, and you sit there and don't say anything, that is also a form of intimidation. You know, like looking someone in the eye and not saying anything is unsettling. People don't respond well to that. You know, they respond well to smiles and immediate, like, how are yous, you know. See, I'm doing my best to try not to say that protesting or any of the sort is a waste of time. Because obviously it does do something, at least. Even if it is just showing the world whatever, you know. I'm just thinking, wouldn't there be way more done if people, instead of going out and being pieces of crap to people, and by pieces of crap, I mean, who the hell are you? Like, you don't know what this person's job is. Do you really know the law? Ah, that's arguable, you know. Wouldn't it be better to just be like, you know what? I'm tired of the way things are being run right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run for office. And I'm going to do a better job. Right? Go and campaign for that, for whatever your goal is, right? Like that actually makes a difference, because at the end of the day, it's Congress that makes the change, right? Like Congress is the one that passes the law and gets things done. Why aren't these people going in front of Congress to talk about this sort of thing? And if they don't do that, then why aren't they listening to the experts that are saying, look, these policies already do exist. You're not allowed to arrest somebody for no reason, right? That's already against the law in a lot of places. But that has to be decided in court, though. Like, I don't know. Nice guy for offering that. I must have missed a comment. I'm not sure why they're disappearing, Blue. If I'm attacked, don't care about religion. Right, I mean, nobody expects you to not defend yourself. Sorry, I'm just trying to... Well, Brian King, I mean, if what you're doing is screaming "fuck the police" into the air, I mean, that isn't exactly legal. I mean, for good reason, too. I mean, there's a certain kind of there's a certain amount of morality, morale that is in the air, right? Like, the average person doesn't hate police irrationally, right? Yeah. Good point, Lost Highway. And yeah, and I want to bring that up. Lost Highway has a good point there, okay? And this is a very hard thing to come to terms with, guys. And I hate to think that I'm excluding myself. So if anybody's listening to this somewhere in the future or now, and they're thinking, oh, well then, you know, you're not actually pointing that finger at yourself now, are you? I'm telling you now, I'm pointing that finger at me too, because I used to be an auditor as well. That being said, these aren't the smartest people in the world. There, I said it. Okay? I said it. It takes a certain kind of special to be so irrationally hateful when things go wrong, you know? Like, to even say, I hate all blank, right? I hate all blank, right? That is a dumb thing to say. I guess I hate all mosquitoes. Is that I don't know? Okay, I'm trying to be as non-awful as possible, right? Let's just be super blunt. 20% of the people believe in freaking flat Earth, okay? Right? Like, this is a high... I say 20%. An arbitrary percentage of people in this community believe in flat Earth and spirituality and crystals and ghost hunting and things of that nature, right? Things that are not only continuously debunked, but like annoyingly debunked over and over and over and over again. But that doesn't seem to faze them, right? And I mean to point that out because you see these Free Thought Project people, right? People like Free Thought Project, who will post things like, "Oh, the cops are murdering our children," right? Something along those dumbass lines, right? You actually watched the video? The kid went after the cop, fought him, the cop did his best to get away, and the guy tried to reach for his gun, so he shot him, okay? Or his taser or something like that. He shot him. Context, people, right? Free Thought Project is nothing more than a propaganda machine who plays on the emotions of the stupid and ignorant, right? The stupid and willfully ignorant. You're offended? Too bad. For sure, Lady Smith. Lady Blacksmith. Excuse me, Lady. Oh gosh. I mean, you can, Brian King, but you're gonna get a human response, you're gonna get a response. You're gonna get a crowd of people who are like, "Fuck you" instead of the mayor, you know. And I don't know if you want a mob. Ask Monkey what having an angry mob on your ass feels like. I mean, just to be clear, Monkey is the only one responsible for what happened that night. Right, try not to be a dick. Yeah. Sure, yeah. I mean, feeling bad afterward is something, right? When you go on a tirade about your dinner not being correct, you paid all this money for your food to be correct, and you have to wait an extra 20 minutes, and so you go on a tirade on the waiter, right? Feeling bad after that, it at least counts. It doesn't count if you do it over and over again and feel bad over and over again, you know. But I still think that feeling bad about doing something nasty is at least a good direction to go in. And hopefully it'll just be a longer period of time between blowing up. Ugly on the inside, yeah. Right, No Lady, I agree. I think that is the appropriate response to nasty people, right? Is that unless they're like directly in your face and they're threatening you and stuff like that, just whatever. Like, I was gonna get a job at that retro place, right? Or whatever it was called. I was gonna get a job there, but they're apparently very conservative, and they were uncomfortable with me for various reasons. It really doesn't even matter what the reason is. Me, I'm not gonna go and fight it and be like, I demand to work here, right? I'm gonna be like, well, I guess I don't want to work there if that's their feelings, you know. So I'll still sell my art there, maybe, but it's like, Oh man, I'm really far behind. Hang on. Let me address no bullshit real quick. I guess, is there any reason you had to say that 4 times? Eric Brandt. Good lord. There's a reason you shouldn't wear shoes or go barefoot on a bus, guys. Okay? There is such a thing as worms and fucking hepatitis, you know, and all kinds of reasons you should not go barefoot anywhere public. Unless you cleaned that floor yourself or it's straight up dirt, nah, wear shoes. That's fucking nasty. I don't even care if it's illegal or not. You should be wearing shoes when you're walking around in public. People spit on the ground, step in shit, and walk on the sidewalk and bring it everywhere they go. You're essentially saying, I'm going to take the bottom of a random stranger's shoe and lick it. Ugh, that's what you're doing. Because your feet absorb everything. that you step in. Ugh, just, oh, so nasty. Ugh. No bullshit, carefully. Let me read more. Oh gosh, I'm going so far behind. The police have to be shut down, or shown, excuse me, shown, okay. I mean, no bullshit, if you want to go out there and get your ass arrested to correct one police officer at the expense of your whole life and everything, because going to jail is not cheap and it makes it a hell of a lot more difficult to live, by all means, be that guinea pig. You want to test the police? Sure. Alright. Don't. No. He did not just win a lawsuit. 48K. There is no God. There is no God. Nope. Not when shit like that happens. Like, 48K can go. I would definitely use that money. I could use that money, that's for sure. Who knew being an absolute shithole of a person could make you so much money? God, I hope he doesn't get to see a penny of that shit. Oh my gosh. Golly. Ugh. Yeah. Good going, genius. The problem is police lie. I mean, I think there are bigger problems than that. Because, I mean, lying only happens with intent, right? Like, you can't call someone a liar if they were not deliberately giving you false information, right? Like, let's just be clear about that. Well, I mean, that's just a human trait there, no bullshit. People constantly do things to push the limits of what they can get away with. Right? Like, this makeup used to go far down my cheek, and it didn't look good, so I had to tone it down a bit. Yeah, but he should have been removed. There's a good reason, like, there's nothing productive about saying fuck the police. You want to be a dick in public, I mean, sure, whatever, but don't expect people to just sit there and take it, right? Like, there's literally counterproduction done to saying fuck the police, because anybody who doesn't agree with that is going to just be totally against anything you say, right? Like, they're just going to be like, oh, well, you just hate police, so we're not even going to listen to what you say. Like, that is just dumb. And I guess you're right, though, Brian King. People should have the freedom to be as dumb as they choose to be. I agree. It's just, there's always consequences. You can say fuck the police in your house, or even on the internet. There's lots of places you can say fuck the police. A city council meeting is not a place you can even say one cuss word, because it's supposed to be about, we got shit to say, we got shit to do, there's stuff to talk about on the agenda, and we don't need anybody wasting our time with ridiculous and unhelpful comments. If you got something important to say, then say it. If all you want to do is say fuck the police, well, we heard you last week, quit coming every single week to talk about it, okay? We heard you. It may be the case, Lost Highway, right? That they start seeing, they get that pat on the back, right? They see that terrible behavior. getting reinforced with a pat on the back, right? Like Monkey83 after his getting a beat down, jumped, whatever you want to call it. Everyone was like, you're the victim, and oh, I can't believe that, and the cops didn't do anything about it, and this and that and that. And it's just like, not only one person in that entire thing was telling him, look, I'm your friend, okay? Friends don't let friends be dumbasses like this, okay? All of these people encouraging your terrible behavior are not your friends, okay? They're not your friends. Like, for sure, Noli D. I don't hate the guy personally. I don't even know enough about the guy other than that that weird barefoot thing. Gross. And for what? Wasn't it about a homeless person or something? Damn. It's like there's a reason we don't let non-shoe wearing people into stores and buses. Like, what if you cut your foot and you're bleeding all over the bus? Gross. Ew, 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 ew. Just never not go barefoot. Or never go barefoot. Thank you, no lady. Right, yeah, I hope nobody's getting offended. Oh man, I'm almost caught up. I just gotta read faster. Are they afraid you're gonna get... They must have been. Man, I'm so behind. That's a really old comment. It was for more reasons than that, but I don't need to get into it. It's not like I'm gonna sue them. I mean, someone can always call and say they're disturbing my peace. I mean, that doesn't stop people from calling the police, that's for sure, Brian King. And really, I mean, if we're really getting down to it, it's all about attention seeking. I mean, you don't have to say to the world that you don't like police. That is probably something you would want to keep to yourself, because literally everyone loves the police. And if you don't like the police, people are going to look down on you and not want to hire you and not want to give you a chance and not want to give you a loan or something along those lines in whatever way they can, because it's just like saying, I hate the military. All military people are awful, that kind of thing. You know, they're cold-blooded murderers. You go around saying that, you're going to have a hard time. You're not going to have an easy time at all. So the old idea, right, is that you have the freedom. Do you want to exercise that? Maybe. Is it a good idea in a lot of cases? Maybe. You know, is it a bad idea in some cases? Yes, it is a bad idea. Like the Columbine thing, right? That whole story about where he was like, are you a Christian or do you believe in God or something like that? And they would say yes, so he'd shoot them. He asked the next person and he'd say yes and he'd shoot them. And it's just like, that's an okay time to lie, okay? You don't have to tell them the truth. You know? Oh man, if I'm again. Wow, okay, I'm almost... Yeah, HIV can't be transmitted outside of the body. Literally, the moment it hits the air, they're dead. You have to have an intravenous, a swapping of fluids. An internal swapping of fluids. Yeah, Brian King, but especially if you're talking out of turn, right? There's a time and place in a council meeting to talk. If you've been selected to go up to the podium and say what's on your mind, sure, you can go up to that podium and be like, excuse me, all I want to say is fuck the police. That would be perfectly legal, right? You say it once, you didn't scream it, you know, you got your say in, and then now you can leave, you know, like. But to go into the back of the room and be like, Mayor so-and-so, you're a corrupt piece of shit, fuck you. No, that's illegal. That's illegal. Yeah, homeless people should be, anybody not wearing shoes should be taken off the bus, okay? No shirt, no shoes, no service. There's a reason for this. No shirt, no service, because if you lay your back in the chair, your bare back on the chair, you got that wild, gross, fucking sweaty, ugh. If you're barefoot, you could step on something and hurt yourself, and you would be, the bus would be liable. I'm just saying, okay, guys, right? There's no good reason to not wear shoes anywhere people can spit. Like, just don't. Anywhere dogs can shit, anywhere people can spit, anywhere feet, your bottom shoes can be, right? Like, what if you're walking into the bathroom and there's pee all over the ground? You're walking in the bathroom barefoot with pee on the ground? Ugh. He should not have won that lawsuit. I'm telling you guys, there is no God. This is so annoying. Life is not fair, okay? And I demand to be allowed to be upset about freaking Eric Brandt getting that amount of money for that. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Well, I mean, they're essentially the same thing, Brian King. One is just more severely trained than the other. Or more severely broken, whichever word you think fits the most. Or both. Because without training, without being broken, there is no training, right? Like, I don't want to become a police officer or join the military because I am very afraid that I would be broken, right? Like, they would take away my individuality for the sake of efficiency, for a good reason, right? Like, if we didn't break people to joining military and make sure they were trained to win a war, right, then we'd all be in trouble. And same thing goes for police. You have to break people before you train them. Curbster, what's up? Vague Mafia. If that's the only reason he got that amount of money, Brian King, it just makes me not like the auditing crap even more. That is entirely too much money. He should have reduced that down to 100 or something. $48,000? Fuck that. Fuck that. That isn't even his money. That's tax-paying money. Alright, he stole that money, okay? I don't care if his rights were violated. He should go home and deal with it. $48,000? There is no God. Man. This is my personal feeling on the matter. That is just so unfair. Train to order followers, yeah. I mean, that's the sacrifice we're talking about, guys. The sacrifice police make, the sacrifice the military makes, is not that they might get shot. It's not that they might die, right? It's not that. It's the fact that their lives, their individuality, the very thing that makes them them, is gone. They don't get that anymore. You can't untrain someone. You can't remake them to what they used to be. That's the sacrifice, guys. So when people talking about military and police sacrifice, they're talking about that. They're talking about they made the choice to help others, right? That's what being a police officer is. That's what being in the military is. And whether that is how somebody interprets it, like, oh, I joined the military just so I can kill towel heads, you know, there's that exception, of course. Or I became a cop because I got bullied a lot in school, so I want to get back at it. I disagree. Hang on. I disagree, Brian King, because without police, right? Let's look at the grand scheme of things, right? Without police, there is no justice. Okay? None. Like, the only kind of justice there would be is whatever you reap yourself. Because without police, you can forget about finding little Sunzi who was kidnapped the other day, right? You can forget finding who her rape and killer was, because the guy's long gone and the little girl's dead, right? You can forget finding this guy and taking him into custody because there's no one to actually go retrieve this person, right? There's no justice in getting the right guy because you're not a trained professional who will find the right person and kill the right person, right? Because you can't detain this person. The only thing you can do is kill them. So to say that police are either useless or that we can go on without them and shit like that, that is a woefully irresponsible and ignorant thing to say, because you're essentially saying fuck any kind of justice that ever could possibly be done. And if the system even worked 1% efficient, right, that would be worth it. And it's a hell of a lot more than 1% efficient. One would even argue that it's more than 50% efficient. I guess that's impossible to determine because you don't know how many crimes go unsolved. Or even unnoticed. And you may also be right in the sense that police don't necessarily deserve the same respect, but they still deserve respect. Mostly because they're human beings, and you should always respect life, right? Like, you don't just go out of your way to make someone's life a living hell, even if they're making yours a living hell, right? Like, that's just if we're talking about law and order and civility and living in a society without eating each other alive, then yeah, you're gonna have to respect people, you know, just for being people. Yeah, they literally own you. You're government property. You can't necessarily, you're not allowed to get a tattoo because it's defacing property. You're government property. Or some kind of surgery. I think it was a dentist or something like that. I'm trying to remember a story, but I don't know the whole story, so I'm just going to leave it out. They are held liable, no bullshit. And anybody who denies that is just woefully ignorant. Willfully ignorant. If you think for 1 second that there's no police accountability, right? It's just like, then you must be just totally purposefully ignoring all the times police get in trouble, you know? Yeah, Yeah, I agree. I agree, Noli D. I think that it would be, in a perfect world, I think people would not hold things against you for whatever reason, or things like that. Like me, I can get along with anybody, right? Like, even if I met a murderer, I would hope to be able to get along with that person, right? Like, if they give me the chance, I will be able to get along with this person, right? Like, I don't agree with them murdering someone. I wouldn't murder someone myself, and I certainly would hope that they don't murder me, but I really wouldn't think of that as a deterrent if I knew I could learn something from somebody, which is really kind of, the whole point of socializing. Oh my gosh, I have not worked on this thing. No, I agree, Brian King. I'm just saying the people that do say fuck all cops. And I'm glad to hear that, Brian King. In fact, when I saw the audit that I did the analysis video on, I was really surprised, if not disappointed, that I didn't have any material to say anything bad about you. That's terrible. Gosh, I'm running 9 people in here, and I still can't keep up with the comments. Yeah, I don't think I've heard it. Tom Perry. I've heard of Tyler Perry. Blech. Tyler Perry. I mean, kinda. They have authority, Brian King, and authority should be respected. If not for the sake of civility, but for the sake of your own well-being. This person has power over you. What on earth kind of difference are you going to make for the better by literally telling the person you hate them? Fine, you can hate a cop. There's nothing stopping you. You can hate a police officer, but it is beyond dumb, beyond stupid to tell someone that you hate them. You're literally giving away your plans, or your master. You're giving away your secrets, right? You don't give your secrets away to your enemy. Art of war, people. Art of war. Fucking suck that dude's dick if you have to get out of that ticket. If you've got to kowtow to this police officer just to get away without a ticket, you are the smart guy. Like, that's brilliant. You know that you hate cops. The cop doesn't know that, right? Anyone watching the video doesn't know that. But you're a genius. That's right. Excuse me, that's what I mean, right? Like, a smart person doesn't give away their secrets. It's dumb. It's really dumb. And that's really what I argue about, is that, like, I am all about freedom. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think people should be free to, to whatever, to pursue a life of happiness and whatnot. Or whatever, as long as it's not hurting people. But there's the issue. There's that problem. Like, there's literally no such thing as freedom unless you just absolutely jump everything in, right? Like, I think that laws don't mean anything, right? Like, you are literally free to do anything that is within your physical capacity, physical and mental capacity, right? You can go murder. You can go eat people. You can go stomp kittens to death. You can do that. You've got the freedom. There is literally nothing stopping you but you, right? There's already freedom, guys. Brian King, Lost Highway. There's already freedom. It's just whether you're willing to live in society or not, right? And society has rules. And those rules can change. They can be broken. They can be made exceptions of. All those things, they can happen. You want freedom? You want ultimate freedom? Go die of dysentery in the woods, right? Like, go drink some some stream water, get some nasty bug in your tummy, and die of diarrhea. You know, that's freedom, right? That's freedom right there. It's like you have the freedom to climb a mountain, but you might break your leg and die, right? Like, that's freedom. The freedom to die any way you want. The freedom to be as dumb or as smart as you want. Like, I am living my life free. Like, 100% free. Like, I kill as many people as I want, right? Which happens to be 0, right? You know, Oh, what's up, Freedom TV? Mirror engaged. Oh man, you just caught me in the middle of a rant. Oh gosh, I haven't even worked on my damn thing in what, 20 minutes? It's 9:04. Look how little I've done, guys. Look how little I've done. Oh. This is a good discussion stream, though. Oh no. I'm gonna get a phone call here pretty soon. Okay, I don't want to die. Right. You want that? You want that kind of freedom? To die of pooping? Yeah, I don't want the cops writing the laws. Hell, I don't want auditors writing the laws. I want people who are qualified and elected to write laws. Or whoever writes the laws. Who writes the laws? Wasn't it like governors? Something like that? It must be governors. Yes, Mikashi. Right, John. Oh. Good lord. That new Vincent Price, yeah. Vincent Price. Oh. So, what was it? Because it's thriller night. Ah, if I could remember the first part, I'm sure I could remember the rest. Can someone remember the first part of Vincent Price's line in Thriller? And for whoever shall be found locked. It's fine, Brian King. I really don't mind. It's not. I can't tell him to go away, or I won't. Excuse me. I won't tell him to go away. Oh, I'm awesome to hear that. Excuse me. I'm awesome to hear that. I'm glad to hear that, Noli D. I know that Brian King and we get along well, despite how, I mean, the amount that Brian King and I disagree with, that I know of, is staggering. And we talk on the phone all the time, or excuse me, we talk on the phone. We conversation. Sorry, we communicate on the phone all the time, and a soprano, yeah. No, I can. I couldn't do it. Darkness falls across the land. Is that the first one? Oh, okay. Midnight hour falls across. Darkness falls across the land. Midnight hour is close at hand. What's the next part? Damn it! I thought I'd remember the rest of it, but I don't remember that part. Darkness falls across darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. No, I see. That's not close enough. Damn it. Damn. We'll get it. Oh my gosh. Work, damn you. Work. No, I think it was... Oh yeah, I see Brian King. I've visited Freedom TV numerous occasions. In fact, there's a lot of things you see on his channel that you don't see normally, like story time. Creatures crawl in search of blood, that's right. I'm gay, I should know this freaking song. To terror. Oh, okay, that's right. And whoever shall be found. Okay. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize y'all's neighborhood. I remember that. That's right. Yeah. Actually, I don't think I'm very close to Vincent Price at all. What? For sure, and Brian King, the point can be made is that his channel doesn't get very much traffic. And that might be a product of what he does on his channel. Right? I'm sure he's still watching now, but that would be the kind of consequences, is that he never gets more than a couple dozen subscribers. So if that's not important to him, then it's fine. Bitchy, not my lover. Yeah. Probably, and whosoever, that's what it was, whosoever shall be found would be locked. How do I not remember that song? Dude, Man in the Mirror. That. Huh. What just happened? Without the souls for getting down. Oh my gosh. You're just gonna... I'm gonna wind up having to quote the whole damn thing. My favorite, or the song that always got me, right? I can't sing this song without getting all kinds of choked up, is the Man in the Mirror, right? If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, I liked it better when he was black. That's for sure. You know, after he turned white, man, he turned into a freaking ghost. Creatures crawl in search of blood. I'm pretty sure I'm not that close to Vincent Price. Yeah, it does look like I'm going to have to do some kind of aluminum wire through all that. Which will be just fine. I think I'm going to go just up like that. And then I guess maybe down to there. Shit. Yeah, I want to hear Weird Al, exactly. Take it easy, little lady metalsmith. It was so awesome having you. It's been an interesting chat. Yeah, unfortunately, I would have been done like an hour ago if I had just stuck with the conversation, or sort of stuck with the art. It's been pretty cool though. I just need to remember to leave it at Discord. You know, when we have these conversations, I need to just be like, let's just save it for Discord. Oh, fabulous. Whatever. I guess I'll have to improvise. that's looking pretty cool. Rappers suing over stolen music seem ironic. Girls just wanna have fun. You remind me of the Babe. What Babe? Babe with the power. What power? The power of voodoo. You do what? Remind me of the Babe. I saw my baby crying hard as babe could cry. What could I do? My baby's love had gone, left my baby blue. Nobody knew what kind of magic spell to use. Slime and snails, or puppy dog tails. Best movie ever. Oh, I need to get a better system for mine. Aluminium. Because currently, it sucks. Great. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Hey, yeah, I totally could. Check that out. Yeah. I got just one big boob. There we go. You're like, exactly, yeah. I was actually, so I know a nude model on Facebook. She was at my dad's house when they were doing a thing. You know, it was her and another model were doing they were doing a photo shoot. And so we've been friends on Facebook ever since. And I was like, what do you think of this? Could you imagine wearing something like this to one of your photo shoots? And she was like, what? That's amazing. And I was like, we could do a breast thing, but I don't have boobies. She eventually decided that she was going to give it a try herself. And I'm more excited about that than doing one. Alright, so what I'm going to do... Oh, that's what they call it? Yeah, the life of a photographer is is not all boring. There we go. Whew. Oh, awesome. I was like, ducked. What the fuck? It's plus 20 hit protection. I totally get it now. Man, I should have been doing this before I freaking connected them. It's fine. Well, I guess I could disconnect them. Nope, let's just fuck it. Alrighty, Brian King. I gotta get my arms tagged. For sure, bro. Yeah, tell her I said hello. Already lost highway. Woo, I just lost a bunch of people all of a sudden. That's okay. I'm actually almost done. Should have been done already. You don't usually cuss unless you're awake. Sometimes it'll F back. So you always want to watch out for that sort of thing. I believe in teaching children early how to cuss. Because, once they get into middle school or high school and they start trying to cuss and they don't know how and shit like that or whatever, they're just going to get made fun of. It'll also teach them to know when and where it's appropriate. shit. Yeah, this is definitely going to be the one that I'm going to wear because it is so beat up from all the fuck-ups. It's like, I don't know about afraid, but maybe a little indigestion. Yeah. I don't think I've seen that name yet. One second, let me go mute real quick. Let me just answer the phone and then I gotta get off. Well, that's just about it, guys. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, it's perfectly fine, even if he's just a lurker, too. I mean, I always love my lurkers. Well, here's essentially a side of it that is done. Let me just finish rolling up this thing here, and then we'll put it on my head. Yeah, when that comes around and I adjust it and stuff like that, it's gonna look like that. Kind of already sits on my head. Looks pretty cool. Alrighty, guys, I gotta go. Oh. Mwah. You guys take it easy now. See you soon, dear. Awesome. See you soon too. You guys have a good one. Might make a video tonight.